Hi everyone, I am Ketra, and today we're going to do a guided message. So we're going to do it a little differently today. I wrote down some things that I've learned that are kind of going on today. So it's more like to help us understand where we're at today with like astrology and planets and all of those fun things that do play a role in our lives. And as situations come up, it can kind of help guide us with how we're feeling and why we're feeling the way we're feeling. So what I've wrote down for today is March 10th. Keep in mind that we are in a time where we are really manifesting our passions, and we're also being protective of our feelings, which may make us feel vulnerable because we're learning to love and trust ourselves. So learning to love and trust when we have a situation that comes up and those feelings we feel, what are we feeling? So that's one of the things I wrote down too. Observe where we may need to set some boundaries. So again, when situations come up, what are we feeling? So where do we need to put those boundaries up? Provide yourself a safe place to feel your feelings. Make note of how you feel about situations that come up. And again, we may be feeling vulnerable, and this is where some fears come up. So today, if you're feeling vulnerable and then that causes you to feel a little fearful, that's okay. Because typically, like I say, what we want is on the other side of fear, right? So why are we feeling fearful? So just take a moment, pause, and figure out maybe why you're feeling that way. So I think the last thing is honor your feelings and observe where you may need to provide yourself a moment to pause. So kind of the same theme throughout the day as situations come up is where do I need to pause? What don't I like? What do I like? You know, when situations come up that makes you smile and feel happy and joy, recognize that too. We don't need to just always focus on the negative. And so I think today we're just going to have a little conversation with the cards and see what they have to say. Not necessarily like a spread, but more just like I'm going to pull some cards. And then if I need clarification on a card, we'll pull that too. We don't always have to pull clarifying cards. I do that when I want a little deeper message to the card. That's why I like pulling clarifying cards. That's why I enjoy when other tarot readers that I like pull those clarifying cards, because it helps me have a better understanding of the message that's coming through, okay? And so we're just going to start with, we have the King of Cups. And so I think for today, that makes complete sense. If you think about it with what energies are going around today, the King of Cups, I believe for me, that would be like to be mindful of the energy that we're in, which is emotional. And so the King of Cups is very balanced. So it's a reminder to stay in balance with your emotions. That's pretty simple. I like using another deck for clarifying cards. The same like Rider-Waite style deck. They're just different. These are my beloved golden universal cards, and these are my beloved typical standard Rider-Waite deck. I also have a Rider-Waite Smith deck. And just to show you the difference between the two, this is like the illustrations from, way back in the day, no borders, and a very, very distinct way of doing this. Is more like colorized, more bold, more printed than this is just, I feel like sometimes just a little bit softer in the illustrations, but they're both beautiful cards, or both beautiful decks. So if we want to clarify a little bit, which I don't really feel we need to, but I want to because it's fun, our King of Cups. So is there anything you guys want to add to the King of Cups besides, just he's emotionally balanced, right? He's just not taking it. And that's, I think, again, the message for today is, where are you at with your boundaries? Where are you feeling? Where are you feeling it from, within? And so we have the Three of Pentacles. And so Three of Pentacles is really, I think it's telling us It's telling me that you are putting in the work on yourselves. I think a lot of us are at that place in our journeys where we're like, okay, well, what is going on and how do I get there? Well, you get there by just being yourself. You get there by putting in the hard work to recognize when situations come up and you don't like them. And I think other people around us may be noticing those changes within us. Some may like it, some may not, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. What matters is how you're feeling. And when you're aware of how you're feeling and you're aware of how your life is maybe changing for the positive, that's kind of like your nod to like, okay, well, this is what I need to do for myself. So I like that. And then let's see what else. What else do we want to share with everybody? Nope. Definitely. I think that we're in a time when we're pulling ourselves forward. If we continue to stare at the past and look at what's happened, that kind of doesn't help us go forward. But this is the Chariot card. It's, I think, one of the two strongest cards in the major arcana. I think it's the Strength card and the Chariot card. So if I had something that I wanted to share with you guys about the Chariot card and for myself too. When I do these readings, I do definitely take the messages that I'm sharing with you and I incorporate them into my way of life too. And so this is, again, I think we're all in a time of like moving forward. I know I definitely am. And I just got this really happy feeling of excitement. So let me know how you guys feel when you think about where you're at and where you're going. Do you feel that excitement? If you don't, change it. Definitely change it. If you don't like where your life is going, don't keep looking back. Be this energy. The Sphinx down here, they're not attached to the Chariot. You don't need to attach yourself to anything to propel yourself into that happiness and that light and that love. And I know maybe it might sound cliche to say those things, but that's really it. When you feel lighter, when you feel more love for yourself, everything around you synchronizes and gets better. So your life situation just continues to get better and continues to get better. And I think that's the very positive message for today is let your life continue to get better by putting the work and the time into yourself. I like to help others too, but I have found that I can't help others if I don't help myself. And the more that I work on myself and my goals and and not just like monetary goals, or it's all kinds of goals. It's not talking to myself negatively. I don't do that anymore. Sometimes it slips in, but I don't necessarily have that, why am I doing this? Or why is this happening? I don't live in that space because that energy is no good. So don't do that. Sorry, I just heard stop. Commitment. My thoughts, actions, words, and deeds support my commitment. The angels ask you to evaluate your commitments to others carefully as you enter this new phase. Get rid of anything that weighs you down, that weighs down your spirit. This could mean leaving draining jobs, commitments, or bad habits behind. And I think one of the best things that I've ever done for my life was come to the place of knowing that there was some very bad habits that I was continually doing, even though I didn't think that it was a big deal. They were a big deal. And they were keeping me from my connection to God, my connection to spirit, my connection to my higher self. They were literally draining me. And I thought, well, I just need to do this and I'll be okay. I can keep doing this bad habit and I'll be okay. And it could be a number of things. It could be addictions. It could be obsessiveness. I mean, I even at one point was obsessed with fitness and food, and I wouldn't eat anything unless I could put it down in my app. So I recognize that no matter what it is, there are possibilities where I could become too obsessive over things. And even if it's a positive thing, like, just eating good and working out and things like that, when you let it rule your mind, that's where the problems come in. So we need to be mindful of where our thoughts are coming from and, kind of try throughout the day to stay in the moment of what you're doing. I think that would be very beneficial to everyone. And definitely, I think I appreciate this, guys. Five of Pentacles, that's a reminder to not point out anything negative about yourself. So stray away from the thoughts of negativity and stay in the positive. I think that's an amazing little, let's guide them this way. Let's remind them that they don't have to kind of have those thoughts of negativity or lack. When we put ourselves in like, I can't kind of mode, that's no good for anybody. That's definitely not good for yourself. That's not good for your family, your friends, your life. And we have the fun little, I love pages, because I always feel this like energy of curiosity and happiness and fun and joy, because they're going on their journey. And it's a good journey. I think the path that we're going on, especially when, okay, so like, oh, okay. So again, I feel like this is another nod to like our potential, the potential that we have when we focus on ourselves and we're reminded that we come first. And I know I'm repeating myself, but apparently this is the message that I'm trying to get across today. When we take care of ourselves, everything else falls in line. And so I think we're going to end with our happy little gratitude cards. And I say that because that's how I feel when I use my gratitude cards. I'm happy because the illustrations, they provide me with that peace and calm and a reminder to, be grateful. But again, I think that, the definite message today, it's clear. Balance your emotions, move forward from your past situations, commit to it, commit to yourself. Please commit to yourself, because that's what we need to do. Don't point out negativity, and enjoy the journey of finding ways that you can correct your trajectory. If you stay in that same place of going back to this, that's not good. Expression, yes. So what I'm feeling from this card is light. See that calming breath that I just took? That wasn't intentional, but it was intentional. It was from my higher self telling me that release that you get when you are comfortable enough to express yourself when situations come up, whether they feel joyful or they don't feel joyful. Allow yourself to express yourself, because I feel like if you do, then that's what's going to help you pull yourself forward. The expression of just that whimsicalness, is whimsicalness a word? I don't know. But when you allow yourself to feel this way, it's the best. It really, really is. And again, I think again today, take those times to pause, take those times to take care of yourself. For me, it is Saturday. It is a beautiful day outside. I'm in Arizona, and it's finally getting hot here. So I welcome the warmer weather, but just little bits at a time, Arizona, because it's hot. As always, please like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff, because I would love to reach as many people as possible. If you need any further guidance, any assistance, any questions that you might have that you think I could help you with, please feel free to reach out, and have a great rest of your day.